let's find some proper coping tools that you can carry in your bag that are a little bit lighter so that you can walk with your head held high. You can proceed in relationships as a healed person. I was saying to someone the other day, when a plant doesn't grow well, we don't curse the plant. We repot the plant, we fertilize, we give it more light, and we water more frequently, or we water less often to give the plant a chance to thrive. We don't say, I don't know what's wrong with this plant. I don't know why it won't bloom. This plant is good for nothing, and we throw it out. No, we take care of it. So I don't want you to put yourself down for the mistakes that you've made, for the poor coping tools that you've had in the past. Let's just change things around so it'll give you a chance to flourish and blossom.
Hey, it's Logan Renee of the Soulcation Podcast, the home of all things soul care, a place where we heal, we grow, and we laugh, all while you're building your six-figure business or CEO career. And now for your Soulcation announcements. We are having another live class this month entitled Losing the Weight and Keeping It Off, honey. Okay. We've probably all done diets, but how do we keep the weight off? So that's what our focus will be on Thursday, August 29th for our Soulcation live class. We're going to have a panel talking about how sugar and flour are really just like cocaine and heroin because they're actually made the same way. We're going to talk about maintaining your figure. Should you lift heavy or should you lift light weights? Cardio versus strength training, recovery, pre-pregnancy and post-pregnancy health, and unhealthy foods to just stay away from. We want to see you there. All details will be in the Soulcation Tribe Facebook group. You can click on the link in the show notes, and we will see you on August 29th. Also, get excited and get ready for the 2021 Soulcation Retreat. I just want to be the real me. We're going to talk about having a CEO mindset. We're going to talk about liking and loving the woman that you are and forgiving the woman that you were. We're going to talk about releasing self-doubt, unpacking brokenness, okay, and leaving it. We're going to put it back in 2020, okay? We want to see you there. Saturday, August 28th. More and more details can be found at loganrenee.com, and we hope to see you there. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Soulcation Podcast. I have Miss Roxanne with us today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, you all might recognize her. She was a part of our Soulcation life class, and now we have her all to ourselves, and she's about to drop some jewels, honey. Okay. Do you mind introducing yourself to the podcast, to the tribe?
I do not mind at all. My name is Roxanne Francis, and I am a clinical social worker and psychotherapist. I originally hail from the little island of Jamaica, but I now live in Toronto, Canada, where I am raising my beautiful family with my partner, and I work with individuals one-on-one, from couples to children to adults who are living with anxiety, depression, who are trying to make changes in their lives. And I also work with organizations so that they can better support their staff who have mental health issues. And I'm also doing some work in the diversity and inclusion space, teaching managers and higher level executives about how to have challenging conversations with their staff and how to move from a space of exclusion to a place of inclusion.
Amen, honey. Get the kids on board.
Okay? That's right.
So since you work with a lot of women, right now, everybody's like, I should be doing something. It's 2021.
Mm-hmm.
2020 shook me up and I'm supposed to be doing something. But a lot of people don't even know what that something is. So they just doing stuff. They just out here. It's like, girl, you're going to have to move with some clarity. So what is the first step for getting clear about what you really want to do?
I would say work towards doing what you love. Work towards doing what comes naturally to you. Otherwise, you are just swimming upstream and you're making it a lot more difficult than it needs to be. What is it that you would do if you never got paid? What is it that you would do anyway? Yeah. Right? For me, it's encouraging people and moving them towards that next thing, right? Talking about mental health and self-care. But if you cook well, if you sew well, if you know about parenting, if you're a teacher, whatever that thing is, find a thing that as my friend would say, the thing that gives you that juice.
Yes.
And then you can monetize it, right? Then you can look about making that a part of your entrepreneurship journey.
That's good. That's really good. So you start off getting clear with what you love, what you really like.
Yes.
Then how do you take it? How do you take into the space of monetizing it? Like, what does that process look like?
Well, the first thing that I would say is, get a coach. A lot of people, there are a lot of good coaches out there, and you have to be careful because there are a lot of people wearing that hat who don't really know what they're doing.
Girl,
Find someone who has some receipts, honey. Get in touch with someone who has used that person before and has seen the results in their own life. If you're connecting with a coach that you don't know, ask them for referrals and get in touch with those referrals. Find out what are the benefits and the drawbacks of that. If you can't afford a coach financially, get to social media, because get to Instagram, Clubhouse, Facebook. A lot of people are out there giving the free advice. Find some good podcasts like this one, right? And there's a lot of free, yes, there, you're doing a great thing. There's a lot of free advice out there. And if affording a coach is an issue for you, get some information. I think that's the main thing. We have to get the information so we can avoid some of these big potholes, so we can avoid bankruptcy, so we can avoid the financial pitfalls. Where should you invest? Who should I hire? What kind of business card should I have? Should I have a brick and mortar store, or should I go online? These are all decisions that you have to make. A business plan at the bank, all these things that you have to do. Get informed, right? Don't walk into this in ignorance, because it will, you'll pay for it.
Yes. And you can find yourself very overwhelmed, especially starting off or starting over.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
and scary. It's like, what do I do?
Yes.
So what are some things you tell women as far as mental health practices like that can help them like maneuver through the
Yes.
stress of the
Yes.
business? Yeah.
Yes. Working for yourself, starting a business can be really, really, like you said, overwhelming, right? Find community of women who are doing, so a couple of things. One, find a community of women who are doing similar things. Two, find one person or a couple of people who are a few steps ahead of you in this game, people who have walked through the process of starting over or starting that business. It's important to have support around you, people who are going to catch your tears when you're crying, people to encourage you when you feel discouraged, people who say no, honey, when you want to throw in the towel. Get yourself some rest. It is hard out here in these streets, and there is this hustle culture, right? And don't get me wrong, you're not going to get anywhere without a little hustle, but it can't be hustle 24/7. You will drive yourself into the ground, right? Take a break when you need to take a break. Take a day off if you can. I know we're in this pandemic life, but pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, we need people around us. We need people to, hey, I need you to watch the kids while I work on this thing, while I'm in this interview, while I, go run out and make that money, right? Who can help you after school with the kids? Who can help you with your finances, with your accounting? Who can direct you in different places? We definitely need our tribe of supporters around us. And for some of us, that's family. For some of us, it's our partners. But for some of us, it's really friends who we call family, people who are doing similar things in their lives, who are on this journey of entrepreneurship, who will say, well, I tried that before and that did not work. Here's what worked for me. These are the apps that you must have on your phone if you're going to be a success in this field, right? I tell people all the time that you cannot do this alone. You know, as women, and particularly Black women, we often get this pride of, I did this by myself and nobody helped me and I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Listen, I'm not going to take away from the pride of being a self-starter, but you can't get very far by yourself.
Yeah.
You'll burn out. We need the encouragement. We need the support. And not only that, but we need to pour into other people. People who are thinking about it, when we get to a place of success, or we feel like it's not as uphill for us anymore, we're kind of leveled off, check in with the young ones who are coming up behind us, check in with the sisters who are just getting their business started, and pour into them as well.
That's so good. You work with client, male and female.
Yes.
Do you think we love ourselves for real?
Not as much as we should.
Yeah.
Not as much as we should. And, I work with people from all walks of life and from all different kinds of cultures. And particularly for Black women, we don't love ourselves as much as we should for a couple of reasons. One, society tells us, the North American society tells us that our bodies as they are unlovable. Skin's too dark, our hair's too nappy, our hips are too wide, our lips are too full. That's not in trend, right? Now it's trendy.
I was about to say, now they're paying for it, honey.
Exactly. Now it's trendy. But there is this idea that we're somehow not socially acceptable, and that other people in other bodies, in other ways of life, in other cultures who speak differently are more socially acceptable. And unfortunately, we internalize that. We don't look at ourselves with self-love. Well, if I was a little bit less of this and a little bit more of that, it would be okay, right? I don't like my straight hair, I like it curly. I don't like my curly hair, it needs to be straight. I'm too thin, I need to be curvier. I'm too curvy, I need to be thinner. And that's dangerous, right? When we don't love ourselves, it spills over into everything else that we do.
Yes.
And not just from a racial standpoint, but from a female standpoint. We hear so much of, maybe what I will say is that our society is so patriarchal, right? It spins us this web of lies that women need to be in the kitchen somewhere, serving to other people, and we shouldn't be. Like, how dare we look into entrepreneurship? How dare we look into that corner suite? How dare we have a goal? How dare we write books? But I say we should do it all. This is 2021, and women are no longer asking for permission. I say go for it, right? Yes. We're not asking for permission anymore. And not only should we do it for ourselves, but we need to do it for the young people around us who are coming up behind us, right? We're not just trying to change this generation. If we go after our goals and live audaciously, it gives the people coming up behind us permission to do the same. And it will change our culture. If we go after everything that we want and stop sitting in the corner and putting our voices on mute and asking for permission and checking if it's okay, all of the people out there, the pioneers, the Fortune 500 companies, the people who run those companies, they never ask for permission. And so we need to stop asking for permission and live our lives unapologetically and go for what it is that we want.
Yeah, that's a word. That is Tribe, you already know, never ask for permission is the title of the book.
There you go. Yes.
We're not asking anymore. And it's crazy because this last year I would have been like, no, I already asked them if I could speak. I already asked them if I could, baby. January 2nd, all of the emails. I don't care if I've already spoken for your organization, if I already spoke at your college or university, you got another email, okay?
Yes.
Together again,
Yes.
And it's all they can say is no.
Exactly.
And if they say no, who cares?
Who cares?
You put yourself out there,
We won't know if we continue to play small and wait for them to notice us. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But, oftentimes that mindset outside of the culture, right? Sometimes that mindset can come from a childhood situation where you were constantly overlooked or had a parent who disowned you, or, if you lived through trauma, it could make you feel like you're not good enough. It could make you feel like you don't deserve to take up space, right? And so sometimes we have to unpack some of that stuff, right? To say, no, what they did was wrong. What they told you was wrong. You're worthy, and you're worthy of all of it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Tell the truth, honey.
So let's switch to relationships.
Yes.
So for the women that are like, okay, this year I'm not going to be single. I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not playing around with the singleness. But they've been single so long, they don't know what openness looks like. How do you
Right.
how do you open yourself back up to be in a relationship or even to have somebody in your space?
Well, first of all, we need to talk about why it is we feel like we're not open. Why are we closed off? Have you been hurt from a previous relationship? Because that can close your heart real hard,
Yeah.
right? I'm not putting myself out there. That one did me so wrong. I got so hurt. I'm not doing that anymore. Well, if we don't venture out, if we don't open our hearts a little bit, we can't receive love. It's like that old adage that says, if your fist is closed tight, then you can't receive what it is that you have to get. And it's the same with matters of the heart. So you need to do a little bit of inventory. What's really going on with me? Because you didn't just wake up with a closed heart. Like I'm not, we need to, again, it goes back to self-love, because oftentimes we feel like if we don't love ourselves, then it's hard to receive love from other people. It's uncomfortable. You know, those people who shy away from a compliment, you tell them they're beautiful and they're like, no, I'm not really, or they
Not
make an
me.
excuse, not me, exactly. Say thank you and agree with it because we are. But, although people often say you have to love yourself before you can love others or before you can even receive love, oftentimes what happens is, we are often told that we are unlovable in through different ways, right? And it is through those communications that cause us to feel like, well, I don't really love myself. I don't really appreciate me fully. And then it makes it hard to connect with other people. So there needs to be a lot of questions that we have to ask ourselves inwardly. It's this journey of self-discovery, of figuring out what makes me so uncomfortable when people pay me a compliment. Why is it that I sit in the corner when I go into a room full of people? Why is it that I feel uncomfortable when people come up to me and strike up a conversation? Because then it makes it hard to open your heart to receive love, to love other people. And then when we get into relationship, what happens when we get into relationships? We need to think about, okay, all right, I'm a little bit closed off to the idea of love, but what was going on in my previous relationships? Do I have a pattern of not communicating? Do I have a pattern of flying off the handle? Do I have a pattern of looking at Tom, Dick, and Harry when I'm supposed to be in a committed relationship? Why am I single? Have I been single my whole life? Or have the relationships been short lived? Am I choosing the wrong person?
Mm,
Right? It really is about this self-love thing is such a complex matter. It really is. You really have to do some personal inventory. We really have to think about what's going on here,
yeah.
right? And oftentimes we look at the other, well, every man, I don't like black men because and every man that I've dated, and not to say that there's some guys out there who need to figure their lives out,
They need
right?
some prayer.
But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But, if we're constantly choosing the same kind of person, then we need to ask ourselves why.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Who am I looking for? It is the person that I'm choosing, do they all have my father's traits? Or, am I still suffering from the grief of my brother who died when I was 6, right? What
Mm,
are some of these things that are causing these patterns? And so, certainly by all means, I would say connect with someone who you can talk to about unpacking some of these things, because there's a lot of love out there. I think there are some men out there who are ready to commit, right? But they're also looking for a whole woman. I hear people say, he's my other half, or I'm 50% and he's 50%. I don't buy that. Two people need to come fully. People need to come both carrying 100%, and then the relationship will have a really great chance.
yeah.
So, self love, self inventory, and bring your 100%.
That's so good. So good. And with the, with the inventory, if you've been doing something wrong, ladies, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's
And then
okay.
we find out what's in our bag and we beat ourselves about the bag. So then that's a whole nother thing. So can you
Yes.
talk to them or not? Can you talk to them about not beating themselves up after they do the inventory?
Yes. So, oftentimes when we have a pattern of behavior, that pattern of behavior is there for a reason. We don't just get up one day and go, well, I'm going to date dogs now. We don't, that's not our goal, right? Nobody wakes up like that.
Oh my God.
But, sometimes we have patterns of behavior because certain things happened in our lives. These patterns, bless you, these patterns of behavior are ways of self-soothing or protecting ourselves or managing the hurt or the trauma that we've experienced. Now, when you start to unpack the bag and you're like, oh, this was there and this is what I was carrying around, and oh my goodness, don't beat yourself up about that. Those things were coping tools,
Yep.
right? So now you've unpacked the bag. Let's find some proper coping tools that you can carry in your bag that are a little bit lighter so that you can walk with your head held high. You can proceed in relationships as a healed person. I was saying to someone the other day, when a plant doesn't grow well, we don't curse the plant. We repot the plant, we fertilize, we give it more light, and we water more frequently, or we water less often to give the plant a chance to thrive. We don't say, I don't know what's wrong with this plant. I don't know why it won't bloom. This plant is good for nothing, and we throw it out. No, we take care of it. So I don't want you to put yourself down for the mistakes that you've made, for the poor coping tools that you've had in the past. Let's just change things around so it'll give you a chance to flourish and blossom.
Y'all better write it down, take a picture and hold it. Okay. That was a word. All right. So we're going to do some rapid soul questions. And you can just, whatever the first thing comes to your mind, just spit it out.
Okay. All right.
If you need to pick up a healthy outlet or turn to a healthy outlet, what do you turn to?
Without batting an eyelid, I would say physical movement, physical exercise. So whether that's running, walking, stretching, yoga, move your body.
Yeah. You look like you dance.
I used to.
Okay. What's the last song you listened to?
Oh my goodness. Toast by Coffee. She's a Jamaican artist. It's about gratitude. Yeah, it's about, she talks about she says, give a toast to all the people who've uplifted you in your life. And she says gratitude is a must.
Let me write that down. Toast.
What's her name? Is Coffee with a K. Koffee.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Come on, Coffee. What trait do you like about yourself the most?
My easy smile. I walk around with an optimistic attitude.
I mean, you have a very warm personality.
And thank you.
It's me just seeing you, on social media. Like, it's very warm. I want to hang out with her.
Yeah, come hang out with me.
Especially in Canada. Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you could go to dinner with anyone in the world, alive or passed away, who would it be?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because there's so many amazing, amazing people in the world. But my easy and quick answer out of all the people in the world would probably be my spouse.
Well, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I've been married for 18 years and he's just awesome. Like he's easy with laughing. He, helps me with stress, joke about all kinds of foolishness. He helps me with my business without overstepping. Great dad, just all around good guy.
That is a whole blessing. Okay. Whole blessing. That's beautiful. You're the first person in 4 seasons to say that.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Beautiful. Wow. What's one book you believe everyone should read?
The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Just say yes. Go get it. Go do it. No more excuses.
Yes. This year especially.
Yes. Yes, honey.
So how can we support you? Do you have anything going on? Should the tribe attend? Are you putting something on in Clubhouse? Like, what's going on? We want to follow you. We want to connect with you. What's going on?
Yes, definitely connect with me on Clubhouse next Monday on the 18th. No, sorry, not next Monday, but the 18th. I'm going to be co-hosting with my girl, Monique Bryan, just around living your best life as an entrepreneur and managing your mental health as you do that. You can follow me on Clubhouse at Francis Therapy. You can follow me on Instagram at Francis Psychotherapy. I'm starting a new program for mental health clinicians who need mental health supervision. It's a part of the thing that we do in our work. We always need support and guidance. And so I'm offering a mental health clinician supervision program. So you can find that on my website as well. And if you're interested in connecting with me, by all means, check out my website or find me on Instagram.
Yes. And we will definitely have her links in the show notes, honey. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. I truly, truly appreciate you.
Of course. This was such a pleasure. I really love the work that you're doing in our community. We need you out here in these streets.
Thank you. Thank you. I receive it. I don't throw it away. I receive it, honey. All right. Make sure you follow Roxanne. Make sure you check out her event in Clubhouse, the program, all of the above. Make sure you're connected with her after this episode. Share this episode with your closest friend, rate it 5 stars, and leave a review. And I'll read it here on the podcast. And I'll catch you all on the next episode of the Soulcation Podcast. Bye-bye.
My hope is that your soul just went on a vacay and you have tools that you can apply to your life today. For more in-depth tools, head on over to loganrenee.com. Also, if you have questions that weren't answered on this episode, email your questions to logan@loganrenee.com and I'll answer them here on the show. I'll talk to you soon.